LEGO Star Wars. In today's world, nobody would bat an eye at this idea of combining these two IPs, but there was a time when this was a relatively new thing for LEGO. In 2005, this collaboration took a step into the world of gaming with LEGO Star Wars, the video game, which was made both to tie in and to promote the final movie of the franchise, which was to release that same year. I played the second game way before I ever saw this one, so when I eventually got to play it, I already kind of knew what to expect. Today, I'm going to be focusing on the original and ignoring the second game for the most part. I bring this up because nowadays, most people will play the complete saga, which is a game that combines the contents of the first two games while adding a few extra things and changing things here and there. I'm playing this off of my PS2, so that's why it kind of looks like it's being played off of PS2, because it is. So I'm just going to get the music part out of the way first, because the music in this game is just the music from the movies, which means it's pretty good music, but it also means that I can't play any of it for you because, you know, the video will get nuked. So for the recordings, I played with the music turned off, which is luckily a feature that is available to me. The experience wasn't the worst, but it was noticeably not as good as playing with the music. Especially as someone who has played this game a few times, I notice when the music cue that's usually there wasn't. Oh, intruder alert, it feels so terrible with no music though. Oh, what the hell? See, usually the music would indicate there's a battle happening, but there's no music. So, for this review, instead of playing the original score, which I can't do, I'm going to be replacing it with the symphonic suite version of Dragon Quest III music, which will make more sense once we get to LEGO Star Wars 2. But for now, it's set up for a joke. Do you guys like the new location, by the way? It's a new location. With all that out of the way, let's talk about the first LEGO game. Now, I know there were LEGO games before this one, but this is the first game made by Traveler's Tales in this LEGO style. This, to me, is a true LEGO game. What LEGO style am I talking about? I'm talking about having multiple characters with different abilities that you can use to solve basic puzzles you come across in the level, being able to freely switch between them, having drop in and out co-op, having your health be displayed by 4 hearts, the inclusions of studs, minikits, and a true X meter, in this case a true Jedi meter, all while the game presents the story in a humorous way. That's the basic formula for TT's LEGO games. The story is obviously the story of the prequels, told in a silly way, though I will say that I did notice that things aren't nearly as explained as they would be in future games that retell certain stories. There's just like large chunks of every single one of these movies that just kind of like doesn't get explained at all. Like episode 2 starts with you going to Camino. Why? I mean, yeah, there is a text scrolling thing that explains it, but I mean, who's gonna read this when you're 8 years old? Nobody's gonna read that. Nobody's gonna read that, buddy. And since this game came out before the actual third movie came out, well, actually, I don't know if that's the reason, but I'm rolling with that. There's 2 different versions of the last cutscene after you beat the boss, which is kind of cool. You know, depending if you win as Anakin or win as Obi-Wan. Though they both do converge into Obi-Wan winning anyways, but that's kind of a cool thing. Also, for the rest of the review, I'm going to be saying levels instead of chapters, but they're called chapters. But I don't feel like re-recording the whole script and just to replace that one word, so yeah. There are 17 levels in total, 6 in episode 1, 5 in episode 2, and 6 in episode 3, with each episode having 1 vehicle level. The level selection ranges from pretty solid to bland and repetitive. Negotiations is too short of an introductory level. It doesn't give the player enough time to get a proper feel for the game. Once we reach Discovery on Camino, things start to feel a bit more whole. But then there are levels like Escape from Naboo and Retake Theta Temple, which feel very repetitive since they take place in the same setting. Chancellor in Peril has pretty solid pacing, good variations in its environments, and a midway boss battle. But then there are levels like General Grievous, which is just a boss battle. I'm not going to be going over all of them, but generally speaking, I think that the levels are on the weaker side here. Even when I was a kid, if I would play the game for too long, I would eventually get this feeling of meh. especially when it came to levels from episode 1 for some reason. The best level in the game might actually be Chancellor in Peril for the reasons I gave, and the worst is Defense of Kashyyyk. The waves of respawning enemies that make stud collection impossible isn't great, and these walkers have way too much health. So there was just so many respawning enemies that were going through this one section that I needed to get some studs from, that I resorted to plugging in the second controller and just trying to distract him with the second player. It didn't work. It didn't work, you know. But I tried. I tried, and never have I had to do something like that in any other Lego Star Wars game or any other Lego game in general. Yeah, that wasn't a fun experience. And also, I didn't even need to do it, actually. I thought one of the carrot things was there, and it wasn't. It was someplace else. So, yeah. Yeah, that sucked. This sucks. This, I don't like it. This thing that's on the screen right now, me no likey. It's bad. I don't like it at all. It's not good. Terrible. Go with Jasmine. You guys remember Jasmine being over there along with these other kooky characters? I have to look up who's over there. Which, speaking of the carrot thing, this is the first instance we get the collect 3 of these things to get a mini kit thing in a Lego game. But since it's literally just in this level and it's the first game in the franchise of Lego games, there's no indicator like one of 3 or anything like that like we would later get in future games. So it's just kind of weird, but notable. This game is very primitive, which is the thesis of this video. It's probably not actually the worst level, but it was absolutely the one I least enjoyed playing by a long shot. I'll give the game this though, it isn't constrained by a formula that it needs to follow. Because of this, you can have things be radically different from one level to another. For example, there's really only one level, like Jedi Battle in the entire game. Another good example of this are the vehicle levels. The first is Mos Espa Pod Race, which is segmented into different parts. Instead of racing other racers, you're racing against the clock. Miss the timer and you have to redo the section. It has gained somewhat of a reputation for being way harder than it should be. As long as you hit the booster pads, you shouldn't be here for too long. Things start to get more difficult as the race goes on, especially in the canyon part in the second and third lap, but it's nothing that's overtly unfair. Gunship Caravan is another level that seems to be heavily disliked. Not being able to fully stop means you have to stay on your toes at all times. The enemies are barely even noticeable here. You're most likely going to end up dying from these lasers or from not opening this barrier in time like I did. No, hit the thing! What are you doing? See, that's some old bullshit. Also, I'm pretty sure we can see the kill box, like right there. Like that's the kill box, right? The little red box right there. You see that? Pause the video. You see that? See that little box there? That's a kill box. Pretty sure. Pretty sure it's not supposed to be there. Pretty sure that was an accident. I mean, it's red like the barrier, but it's clearly not to the barrier. It's clearly something else. And it looks kind of out of place. Pretty sure that's a kill box. This is like the only review you're going to watch where somebody's going to mention that. Guaranteed. First on YouTube. Pretty sure. Maybe. Highly likely. The last part of the level will have you shooting these lasers, which will then reveal these conduits that you also have to shoot. You need to act fast here since you're on a timer. If you start as soon as possible, you'll have no problem, but if you lollygag for a few seconds, you're gonna miss it. My favorite part of this level is the ability to shoot really fast. If you just hold down the attack button, you'll shoot pretty slowly. Spam that sucker though and you get this. The final level of this sort is Battle over Coruscant, which was the level I replayed the most as a kid because it was an easy way to grind for money. It's also pretty fun. I really like this level, but you can die a bit too quickly on some points. It reminds me of Silver Surfer for the NES.
The fuck? I can't touch the walls?
This level is just as simple as a space shooter, but I still love it. I remember my dad asking me if there was a way to lock on and shoot missiles at the enemies, and then being kind of disappointed when I told him no. Which, yeah, that would have been pretty cool, but I don't think it's really needed. Unlike the previous level, you aren't hindered by the possibility of suddenly running into something. You can see what's up ahead of time. It's probably why this level doesn't get as much hate as the others. It's also the level that has the most happening in the background. It's definitely the most interesting for that reason. I'll talk about Minikits later, but these vehicle levels are the only ones you can get all 10 Minikits on your first time playing it, since there's no free play option. Now, this game has co-op, like I mentioned, drop in and out co-op. You know, you plug in the second controller, you hit start, you're there. If you want to leave, you press pause, you go down, select drop out, you're gone, which is pretty cool. Now, co-op though, you're relegated to the same screen, and often, if you're playing with somebody, it's going to be that one moment where you want to go that way, and your buddy wants to go this way, and you're just kind of locked in place, and neither of you is going to compromise. You're just going to keep on walking your direction, and nothing's going to happen. You're just going to be sitting there like, this way, or, you know. In future Lego games, they fix that by adding like split screen once you like go off far away enough. But for this first game, and for a few of these games to come, you gotta unplug the second controller for like 2 seconds to get your dumbass friend to follow you, or in some cases your girlfriend. Now, as a child, I discovered or noticed that there's a way you can switch characters with somebody that you're actually playing with. If you go up to a player character and hit triangle to switch characters, nothing's going to happen, because you're not just going to like automatically switch to the character that somebody else is playing. But if you both press triangle at the same time, you will switch. So I don't remember what Lego game it is in where that stops being a thing, but for this first one, that is a thing. And each Lego game review, we're going to be testing it. So, you know, Lego Star Wars 1, approved triangle press test. I need a better name for that, but yeah, it approved. We got the little red gold star that is blending into the Gadsden flag. Should I be standing up? Let me know in the comments. Should I be standing up so you guys can see Gadsden? Bruh. In this first game, there are 7 different character types. First, we have the Jedi. They can attack with their lightsaber, obviously. They can also use it to block attacks by holding down the attack button, bounce blaster bolts back at the enemy if you time your button press right. They have the ability to double jump, backflip, use the force. If you delay your button presses when attacking instead of just mashing them, you'll do this special version of the attack string that makes you invincible until you're done doing it. If an enemy is behind you and you hit the attack button, you'll hit them. If you jump once and then attack, you'll do the slash. Double jump and attack, and you'll do this slam. Attack once and then hit the jump button, and you'll do this sort of auto jump that brings you behind the enemy you were fighting. The Jedi have the most options out of any character type in this game, which makes sense since this game covers the prequels, and the Jedi are heavily featured in those movies. Most people are going to want to play as a Jedi over other characters, and they are canonically the most powerful character type from the ones we have to choose from. The ability to block attacks by simply holding down the button is extremely useful. The lack of a long-range attack is negated by returning enemy fire at them. Using the Force in combat isn't that useful overall, but it's yet another thing they have over other character types. Double jumping is great for platforming. The slam has a 360-degree area of effect, so I can't help but use it whenever I see a large group of enemies. They are also the only ones that can properly deal with the droidicas, since normal blast will just bounce right off their shield, while hits from a lightsaber will weaken it, and a slam will straight up just get rid of it. Next type we run into is the protocol droid. These are slow-moving droids that are only ever used to activate these panels. They're basically a puzzle piece or a key. Now, due to their limited movement, there's going to be times where you need to figure out how to get them to the panel to move forward, but this happens so unfrequently, I can only think of this moment here. I'll just go ahead and mention astromechs here too, since they're the same thing, with the only difference being that they can hover for a short period of time, so you can use them to get to places that even Jedi can't reach. They also can stun other droids, which is more amusing than actually useful. But I guess that would technically make them the only other character that can deal with the droidicas, but not really. Next we have characters that can jump high, higher than the Jedi even. Perhaps it's not fair to call them a character type, because it really acts more like a character trait. Putting Jar Jar and this guy in the same category seems strange. 2 out of the 3 characters in this character type have either lightsabers or lightsaber-like weapons, and Jar Jar is just stuck with the ability to jump. And that's it. My boy can't punch anything. My boy can't defend himself in any way at all. Next we have characters with blasters. They can shoot their blasters and use these grapple points to get to higher places. And that's it. There are a few special ones, like Jango Fett, who can use his jetpack to fly, even though it doesn't work like R2's ability, but okay. Can run faster than most characters, and has 2 blasters. But for the most part, all blaster characters are the same. Now, you might say, well, aren't all the Jedi characters the same? From a technical standpoint, yes, but a lot of them have unique animations, so it feels different.
I hate Yoda. I hate Yoda in this game. So he has his little hover chair thing, which if you just jump once in place, you like jump and it will appear, and you can move around like that. That's fine. That's cool. I like that. It's a nice way of maneuvering with him. But the only reason why that's like necessary is because his default movement sucks. Now, if he doesn't have his lightsaber out, he acts like an old man, like a very old man. He's very slow. But then as soon as he takes his lightsaber out, you go, oh, I wish he didn't. Because then every little movement of the stick, this green motherfucker is jumping like crazy. You want to move like 2 inches that way, and he's like, just jumps like crazy. It's annoying. It's very annoying having him just in the courtyard. When you're in the courtyard, he'll never be in the hover chair if you're not controlling him. He'll always have his lightsaber out. He'll just be jumping, and you'll just hear jumping sound effects in the background while you're trying to look at the models or whatever. It's annoying as hell. I hate Yoda in this game. I hate him. You know, he's kind of cool to fight with, but not great. Not a great character. I don't like him. Don't like it. Very annoying. Movie accurate, but that movie sucks, so it's not a good thing. The blaster guys just kind of shoot, kind of all blends together, except for Jango. Jango's kind of unique. You can't jump though. Why can't my brother jump? Just let him jump normally, please. I find it harder to fight enemies with these characters. Mid-range is fine, but if the enemy is on a higher elevation than you can't deal with them as easily as a Jedi can by simply sending their blasts back at them. Also, close combat isn't great either. The Droidekas are kind of cool. They're like the fastest character, I'm pretty sure. And they have a shield. This is not the trilogy for blaster users. There are also small characters, and by characters I mean 2, which are used to get into these hatches and nothing else. I'm pretty sure like there's only like 1 level in the story mode that has them, I think. Yeah, this is the Anakin one. This is the 1 level with Anakin in it, yeah. But again, this is for the story mode, so I can't really blame him, I guess. And finally, we have Sith characters, which function the same as the Jedi, but they can use the dark side of the Force on things that requires it. The Sith isn't a character type that you will get from just playing the story mode. You have to go over to the shop and get them. You'll get 23 of the 56 characters in total just by playing through the story mode. There are these stud meters that need to be filled up, which you do so by collecting studs. Doing so will grant you a super kit piece. You can do this either in story or free play mode. So the filling of the stud meter is a very iconic thing in LEGO games. If you've ever played a LEGO game, you probably will recognize the sound effect that plays once you do it and what happens once you do it. But here it's just nothing. It's just nothing. It just happens. And I go, oh, I didn't realize it happened. So yeah, very underwhelming, very strange. Minikits are this game's main collectible, perhaps? I guess you could say. In order to get all of them, you'll have to go back and replay the level in free play mode, a mode that lets you replay the level with access to every character type. This will grant you access to areas or things that you couldn't get before. For example, there's no way of getting R2 in the first level when you're playing story mode, so you'll play free mode for that. There are 10 minikits per level. Collecting all of them will grant you access to this model you can view outside in the courtyard, but it will also grant you a decent amount of money. This is going to be somewhat useful because this game requires you to collect a lot of money to purchase everything in the shop. You just don't get a whole lot of money normally. After beating all the levels in story mode, I just barely had over 500,000 studs. I mentioned this because I recently played LEGO Indiana Jones, and by the time I finished that game's story mode, I was a little over 1 million. Not only does the game not give you a whole lot of money, but things in the shop can be pretty pricey. It doesn't take much to go from a decent amount of studs to a pretty sad amount. How much is Count Dooku? That's way cheaper, right? Hell yeah, dude. Count Dooku it is.
There's some clones in here too, though. I almost accidentally almost bought. Oh, I just wasted all my money. I just realized. What am I doing? Characters aren't the only thing you could buy in the shop. There are also these extras. These are mostly cosmetic changes you can apply to your characters after you have bought them. They're mostly silly things like giving everybody a mustache, or making every lightsaber purple, or making everyone a silhouette, which is the first time I ever saw the word silhouette. I had no idea what it said, and I didn't understand why it made everybody this jet black. The one that actually affects gameplay is the invincibility extra. Okay, there's also the Minikit detector, but it's borderline useless. This is the indicator right here, that arrow that's literally above the Minikit that I can only see once the Minikit is on screen. Yeah, that's the Minikit detector. Yeah, it's real. There it is. That's terrible. That's terrible. It's the worst extra in the entire game, I would say, because it's useless. As the second most expensive thing. Crazy. Back to invincibility, it is the most expensive thing in the game, costing 1 million studs. This alone is going to take some grinding if you don't plan on buying it first. If you get it before much or any of the other stuff in the game, you'll have to get money for the rest of the stuff in the shop, but it will be a bit easier, since you won't have to worry about dying and losing your money. On the flip side though, it removes all challenge there is from trying to do so. Not that there was much challenge offered by the game to begin with. I have thought about this for a long time, and I'm not sure I found exactly how I want to say this, but... well, for starters, this game isn't very difficult. Most enemies die in one hit. When you die, the only punishment is that you lose money that you can still go over and pick up again. Most of the puzzles are rudimentary as hell, and the game is pretty short overall. Now, is this a bad thing? And if it is, how bad of a thing is it? Should I be as critical of this game's combat as I am of the combat in God of War? Should I hold this game to the same standards I hold games like Morrowind, Shadow of the Colossus, or Ocarina? Is that fair? This game, obviously, was never meant to be a combat-heavy game, nor was its puzzles meant to be actual roadblocks. This is a game that's meant to be easy so that anybody can pick up and play. That, in and of itself, isn't a bad thing. It's fine. But it's also just fine. There's nothing truly flawed about this game, but it also doesn't do anything in a stellar way. It's just okay. That all being said, I would still recommend the game. There's something about it that I do find pretty fun. Trying to take out the droids in the most fashy way possible, even though you really don't need to, is enjoyable. There's a lot of charisma to this game. The way it retells the story of the prequels is fun. All the silly extras are fun. Being able to remove the limbs of the protocol droids and have them activate the panels by using just their head is funny. It only gets not as fun when we hit the third movie, and that's mostly because it's dark and grim. But even then, it's just most things, not everything. Not every game needs to be the best thing ever. It's fine to play a mid-tier game every once in a while. Why play this game over any other game then? Well, I'd say play it if you're a Star Wars fan. I don't know how much enjoyment you're going to get out of it if you're not one though. But if you are, then it's a fun time. But you should only play a level or two at a time. Any more than that and things can start to become a drag. Especially if you're trying to 100% this game, or any other LEGO game for that matter. At least that's my advice. After collecting all the true Jedi meters, you get your final super kit piece, and unlock Episode 4? Yeah, it turns out that the door right next to Episode 3 was the next episode. Okay, it's not really Episode 4. It's just one level with no collectibles that shows the events of the original movie's opening, but from Darth Vader's POV. It's kind of like playing Rogue One 11 years before that was even a thing. They recreated the opening scene of Episode 4 pretty well here. We will later see this in LEGO Star Wars 2, and once I get to that game, I'm going to be comparing these two just to see like how, if they reuse the same opening they already made, or is it like slightly different. But yeah, this, it's cool. I really like it. It's also like more cropped than the other cutscenes, because it's like mimicking like actual widescreen. It's kind of strange, but also I like it.
really cool. Yeah, I don't know. I'll talk more about it in the next game. It's a very short level, but beating it will unlock 2 more characters, Vader and the Stormtrooper. So I lied earlier when I said that you only got 23 characters from playing the story mode, since this is technically the story mode of this level. Also, I technically lied when I said you can only get Sith characters from the shop, because this is a story mode level and you get Vader from the story mode, so yeah. This will also unlock Princess Leia and the Rebel Trooper in the shop. This level is also notable for having the classic buildable LEGO word that will appear in future LEGO game bonus levels. And this level provides you with over 100,000 studs. Yeah, let me say that again, 100,000! Which by today's standards, it's kind of like, yeah, that's okay, I guess. But it's way more than any of the other levels in this game. So this is the new grinding level. I'm sorry, Battle Over Coruscant. You're a lot more fun, but this is just way quicker. After collecting every mini kit, unlocking every character, and buying every extra in the shop, there's nothing more to do. Having the bonus content be locked behind the stud meter only was a strange decision. 100%ing LEGO games is always an iffy ordeal. You collect characters so you can play as them, but if you collect everything right away, you won't have a chance to play as all the characters. I bought the Minikit detector extra mostly because I needed to, not because I actually wanted to use it. Since when I got it, I was only missing the kits from 2 levels. And again, I mean, look at this. This ain't useful at all. Before I knew it, the game was over and I had nothing left to do. Would it have been better if I purposely didn't go after the stud meter when I was playing through the story mode, so that I would have something else to do while I was replaying the levels? Or would that have made the game less fun overall? I'm not sure. I could replay the levels just for fun, but like I mentioned before, I don't think they're very strong design-wise. I could also battle random characters in the courtyard, but I don't really have time for that anymore. I used to do that when I was a kid, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. It kind of makes me sad, actually. Kind of sad to think. Anyways, the game all but tells you that you're getting a game that covers the OT, so we have that to look forward to, I guess. Overall, the game is just fine. Not great, not terrible, just fine. If you're a fan of LEGO games and you haven't tried this one out, I'd say play it. It's pretty interesting to see how stripped back things are compared to other LEGO games. I don't think this is a much better experience than just playing the complete saga. It's also easier to get than this game since it's on Steam. So yeah, good luck finding this game on PC. So, overall, an okay game. Not the best, not the worst. There's a few things I would change. But it doesn't really matter actually, because the next game, I'm pretty sure fixes all that. I haven't played it in a while. It's been a few years, but I'm pretty sure once I play it to make a review like this, I'm going to go, yeah, that game did everything better, maybe. Hopefully I don't hate it after doing a review for it. That'd be kind of sad. But anyways, yeah, that's the end of the review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Smash that freaking like button. Leave a comment. If you're watching this in the premiere, please, after the premiere's over, or even right now, you can go down to the comment section, not the sidebar, not that, or this over here, not that, down below. Leave a comment. Say something like, I like Bad Fish. Is it Bad Fish? I like Bad Fish by, what's their name? Well, I forgot the name, but Bad Fish by these people, yeah. Leave that in the comments down below. Or something to that effect. Or, better yet, something about this freaking video that you just watched that isn't me saying what I just said. Also, do you guys like the new location? I'm against the Gadsden, which is cropped out. Maybe I'll stand up. I'm sitting down in a chair right now. Maybe I'll stand up just so we're at eye level with Gadsden like we were before in the previous place. But I don't know. It's kind of sad, you know. There's no depth here. Like the wall's right there. Before it was like the wall's way over there. Also, when I'm not standing up, the camera can actually be at like eye level, which doesn't make me look taller than I actually am. I've had people say that I'm like, they've never seen me in real life. They're like, you're tall. I'm like, I mean, I'm not short, but you know, I'm not towering over the average Joe. You know, it's just the camera doesn't. reach my eye level, so you're all looking down upon me. Yeah. Bruh. Anyways, yeah. Should I stand up? Let me know. Should I be better at blaster characters? Let me know. I think the next review in the series is going to be Lego Star Wars 2, but I think the next review might be, hopefully, Super Mario Bros. 2, the USA version, which would be nice. I gotta beat that game, though. I haven't gotten past World 2. Maybe I gotten past World 2 once? Yes, I did. I did actually do that. Yes, I did. How many worlds are there? More than 3. Are there 4 or 5? I don't know. Anyways, I gotta beat that game, then review it, and yeah. Also, check out the second channel. I did a Let's Play of the whole game, this whole game, on that channel. I'm not gonna be doing that anymore because nobody watched it. I'm gonna be doing like 2 or 3 videos of a game before the review. No more full Let's Plays. Not even of God of War 2. I'm gonna be doing like maybe like 4 or 5 videos of God of War 2 before I do the eventual review, but full Let's Plays, no mas. Anyways, peace out. Thank you. Shout out to Angry Canadian for some reason. Hey, you guys seen Angry Canadian? He's a pretty cool guy. Alright, peace. This level is also notable for having the classic buildable Lego world that will... Word.